You clicked on this video for a reason. Spawns are a huge factor in rank play, especially knowing how to read and control them. So in this video, I'll be going over every map on Hardpoint and Control to get your understanding of the spawns down and get you ready to climb the ranks. So let's get into it. So we're going to start with Hardpoint first, guys, but before we get into it, I'm just going to give you the first tip here. Basically looking at your mini map, knowing where your team is, where you're at, where you guys are positioned on the map will give you an idea where the enemy team is coming from. So for example, basically more times than not, whichever side your team is on, the enemy will be coming the opposite from. If you're back blocking on a hill, obviously they're going to come from front or try to flank you, or if you're pushing a hill. So just keep that in mind. Wherever you are on the map, your teammate will basically be the opposite of. First map here, Hacienda. Now for Hacienda, obviously P1 is very a bad P1 is very bad. We're just going to position some people here and stuff. All right, so most of the time, let's just say we're going to be the red team most game, okay? So the red team's coming from P3. They spawn on P3 side, and they got to push through to get P2 spawns here. So what blue is going to want to do is try to keep these P2 spawns, try not to flip. And what red is trying to do, they're going to try to flip, try to get these spawns right here. So to do that, you're going to need to wipe the team, push through, and get them to spawn out, right? But also, if blue does push up too much, if they push up too much, kill whoring and stuff, then red will actually get P2 spawns already if they push up and give it up and they don't play for it. But yeah, P1 is very tricky. So if you are the blue team right here, I mean, they could come from anywhere like wine, connector, or your open, top or bottom, any three sides. That's why P1 is very hard to control. You're going to want one person on time usually and three up top trying to cover you, trying to hold P2 spawns. But anyway, let's go to P2 right here. Let's say the blue team is set up here for P2 and the red team's trying to push in. Obviously red team's going to be all coming from front. If blue has this set up, the spawns for red team, they're going to be spawning here on P1. They're going to be spawning here rock, and sometimes they will get the well spawn. So you got to be careful where you're positioned on the map. Do not give this up too much because they will spawn well right here by your fence and flank around trying to get spawns. But also don't give up this back position either. If the whole blue team pushes up and they give up the spawn, red team can definitely spawn back here and control these spawns, then get the hill. So for P3 here, the red team set up, one's back blocking, so there's no way blue team can spawn back here. Only way they can break through is try to get a full team wipe and push through, or a couple could try to flake around, kill the dude blocking and get spawns. But red team has the spawn endpoint here. So where is the blue team spawning? The main spawn point is right here. If the red team is set up, this is the main spawn point for P3. So they're going to be flooding into here and they're going to be flooding into here. They could flank you, stuff like that. But this is the main spawn point over here for P3 and also over here. But if you are blocking, just make sure you do not push out, because if you push out, boom, you might get a kill or two on blue, but they will get spawns back here and you do not want them to flip out and get them spawns. On over to P4 now. Red team has P4. These spawns are a little tricky because they could get split spawns or they could spawn on either side, but the red team did have P3 spawns, so they should have rotated this direction and kept the spawns window side for red or P4. So for this hill, you do want to try to keep these window spawns right here, so they will spawn out Lambo and come your mid right here. But you just got to be careful because they can flank you window and they can flank you under this wine door right here. But the ideal setup is to have window spawns for P4. If you push out too much or get a few dead or something, let's say red kills blue right here. He's pushing up right here. He's going through. He's holding this right here. Blue's team can get these spawns back here if y'all are positioned up too far and the red team gets a full 4 wipe. They could get these window spawns back here if y'all are positioned up too far. So just be careful where you are positioned on the map. You're going to want the window spawns for P4. But let's go into red card Hardpoint now, guys. Now here's P1. Like I said earlier, whichever side you are, the enemy's coming from the opposite. So that's basically what P1 is for most maps. Whatever spawn you're on, enemy's coming from the opposite, guys. But for P1, if you are the red team, they will get these back esky spawns and they could come up eskies right here, or they can go around and go through hedges. They could get these spawns as well. And here, if you are the blue team, expect them to spawn somewhere over here or over here. And just knowing where they're spawning, guys, that will tell you where they're going to be flooding into, which the blue team can flood into ticket around here, try to get a kill and flank, maybe get spawns or something. But let's say the blue team is taking over P1. They push out red team, but red team's trying to keep spawns for P2. Blue team's pushing up, trying to get spawns, but they're still leaving this spawn open for red. Red team can still spawn in here and back here as well. Let's say the red team has these spawns for P2. Blue's trying to take over P2 right here. But to be honest, you're going to want to be the blue team in this position and let the red team have those back spawns, because you're going to want to be able to have these spawns for P3 and rotate. Because if the red team are killing the blue, red team's going to keep these spawns and the blue is going to keep spawning over in this area right here and sometimes up here as well. And if you're the blue team, obviously, you know they're going to be spawning back here. This is the main spawn for P2, and they can also spawn in restaurant too if you are pushed up a little bit. So on to P3, pretty straightforward. Blue team has P3. Let's say red team's pushing up here trying to take point. Blue team knows they're going to all be fronts. They could come top your staircase, They can flank your Eskies and flank. They're going to come outside bus, front sidewalk, all that stuff. So just make sure you're not pushing up too much. You're going to want one staircase watching the top, and that should be enough to block someone, as well as someone outer here watching the outer push and stuff like that. But just make sure your teammates do not push up too much. If you give out that back spawn, red team can spawn back here. And once they spawn back here, boom, y'all got a 4 white, blue's got a 4 white, but they got spawns. They could just take over the hill. They got everything that they need. You just want to make sure you keep the spawns and know where they're coming from. But if you're the blue team in this situation, you will be spawning back here almost every time. Red team will be coming front. They will be spawning over here in this area and maybe over here top hedges, and you can flood in top and stuff like that. But let's go to the P4 setup here. Say red has P4. You got one top stage, one bottom stage, one outer here, one outer here. They're just watching everything. So these spawns are a little tricky here, guys, because if they're spread out like so, they can get spawns on either side of the map. But let's say you have a setup over here. See, they're blocking this side of the map, so they will be getting spawns over in this area, just like so. But if the red is pushed up on this side of the map covering P4, then blue will be getting spawns over in this area. So it's all about positioning on the map, knowing where your team is, will be knowing where the enemy is coming from. P4 really is a money hill. Let's go over to P5. Same thing. Let's say red is blocking this side over here. That means blue is going to be coming from this spawn over in this direction right here. So they can come up top Eskies and go right here staircase or go through ticket, but they can also flood right here. And same if you're the blue team, you know that red's going to be spawning over in restaurant side. And sometimes they'll get this spawn below Eskies over here. And the red team knows that they are spawning over here, obviously. So that is the spawns for P5 for each side. Protocol hardpoint, let's do this a different way. Let's just start with P1 here. So here's a setup. Red's on this side, blue's on this side. So red's obviously, they need to push through for P2 spawns, and blue wants to keep P2 spawns. So if blue pushes up too far, they will lose spawns. You don't want to lose these P2 spawns. Always have someone blocking. If red pushes up and they kill the people blocking, they can get these spawns as well. So the blue team knows that the red team's coming from this area. They're going to have these spawns back here and back here. And the red team knows that the blue team is coming from Granny's area. The blue team's going to have these spawns right here, and sometimes right here, depending on the positioning of everybody. But for P2 setup, let's say blue has P2 here. Let me switch it over. So blue has P2 and red needs to push up and get P2. So the spawns for this right here, make sure, of course, again, blue doesn't push out, loses spawns, need someone blocking. Let's say he's in tools right here. He's watching all across. But the blue team knows that the red team will be coming from over in this area. They're going to be coming from your front. So for P2, you can get spawns. Same thing over here back in the back P3 area. And if the blue team is pushed up and pushed back enough, holding, you actually can get spawns like right here inside bottom P3. And for the red team, knowing where blue spawns, they're going to be spawning back here and sometimes back here. Now for P3, let's say red has this set up here. Blue's been dominating the whole game. Blue's got to push up and try to get control of this point. Red has spawns. He doesn't need to push out, give up spawns, keep blocking. So red has the point. Red knows the blue's coming from front. They're going to have these spawns. They can spawn. Usually they'll spawn right here in this area, and they're going to flood bottom grannies. They're going to flood P1, or they're going to flood gun. They could get these spawns or these spawns right here. There's 2 spawn points. So that's where the red knows where blue is coming from. And obviously the spawn point for P3 for red is just going to be back here because they're blocking. But for P4, let's say red has P4 again, and blue is spawning spiral side, right? So you're going to want one in spiral watching, one in elevator watching, and one in point, one in the back watching front, one in point just helping wherever he needs to help. So the spawns on here are weird. They can get tricky and they can split. You just got to be aware of where you are pushed up. Let's say we have this set up here, 3 people on point, 1 elevator. They're obviously going to be spawning spiral side, then flooding in spiral and your front. They can hit top mid and hit your elevator and flank. But let's say we have this set up now, then they're going to be flipped. If they're focusing spiral like this, they're spiral positioning, they're going to be elevator, spawning elevator right here. From an elevator front, and they could flank as well, go spiral. So just knowing where you're blocking on one side of the map, that will tell you where the enemy is spawning on the other side of the map. Now Skyline Hardpoint, this one is actually very easy. We're going to start with P1 here. Let's set up blue right here, and then red or P2, because red's going to want to keep these P2 spawns right here. So if you're red, the blue team will be spawning back in here, this area. This is over here and over here, these 2 spawn points. And then if you're blue, the red will be spawning. They can get these spawns white. They could get over here or over here. There's a few spawn points in this back area, but they will be getting these spawns. So basic spawns for P1. Let's set up for P2. We want this ideal setup for P2, guys. One watching kitchen, one watching the piano, one on point watching grapple, and then one top watching all top push. So blue's trying to break this hill. Red's got it locked down. Only way blue could break this is to hit it together, get their trades. But where the spawns are for blue, if you are red, you should know blue spawns back here in P4 and back here grass. So these are the 2 spawns here, P4 and grass for the blue team. So when they spawn right here, they can go hit bottom, try to hit your grapple. They can come out mid, hit your kitchen, mid, hit your gym. They can come out hot tub, or if they hit grass, they're going to go through kitchen probably, maybe hit your mid. But those are the spawns for P2. Let's go to P3 now. P3 right here, we got the blue team set up for P3. Red team's trying to hit it it and get the hill. So right here, it is tricky because the red team can flank catwalk and try to get these spawns right here or kill the guy trying to block and get the spawns. So you have to be aware of the flank. I would suggest, honestly, having someone back here, just like so, watching the bed flank, watching the top flank, and helping on point when need be on these headies with an AR. So if you're blue, you're going to know red is going to be coming from mid in your front, but I'll also watch flank like I said. But spawn points for red will be right here in this area. They're going to spawn right here. They could go up white, or they could just flood right here in kitchen or go bottom. But yeah, this is a spawn point right here, and also back here as well. So these two spawn points for P3. The blue knows they spawn back here. So red knows they're spawning over here. They're going to get these spawn points back here, usually back here or back here. But like I said, red can push through, get the spawns, spawn blue out if he gets the kill. Boom. Now red has the hill. On to P4 now. Blue team has P4 and they know red is coming front. This dude's back all the way blocking cushions. So only way the red can get spawns if they push out and kill him, or if he gives up these spawns and pushes up, which he doesn't want to do. So the blue team knows the red team's coming from front. Like I said, the red team's going to be spawning right here piano, and be spawning top right here P2 as well. So piano and P2, those are the two spawns, and you can also spawn kitchen as well. On to vault hardpoint, obviously P1 straightforward, like I've been saying, whichever side you spawn on, the other side is where the team will be coming from. Let's just position these guys wherever. So red team knows blue will be having these spawns back here or back here, and blue team knows red team will be having these spawns right here or right here. Sometimes you get palace spawns, but for P2, red is set up now. Red knows that blue team are spawning out, so the blue team's going to be spawning right here, and they can spawn over here as well. So these two spawn points right here for blue if you are the red team, and for blue, if you are the blue team, red team will get these spawns almost every single time, unless of course blue pushes out, kills red. He will spawn red out, and then blue will push up. They can pinch, or if blue dies, they'll get spawns anyway. But also it depends on your positioning. Let's go back to this real quick, because blue could also get mid spawns right here if red team is all back, just not pushed up. They're just focusing on holding the hill. Blue team could get these mid spawns right here. This is a common spot, common spawn point, just depending on where your positioning is. Let's go to P3. P3 pretty straightforward on the setups. I mean, each side, these two spawn teams, if you're the red team, you know the blue team will be spawning over here somewhere, just like so. But if the blue team does push up too much and give up art spawns, if they're going crazy, the red team could spawn and get these spawns here. It happens a lot. And then the blue team, boom, they spawn out. You just got to be aware of your positioning, where you're blocking. Do not push up too far. Try to hold spawns, because you're going to want these spawns for P4 as well if you're any team. So P4 spawns, this is a money hill right here. It's very hard to break this hill. Okay, the red team's pushing up here, and blue team's got everything covered pretty much, but the spawns for blue will be all the way back here, unless the red does push up and wipe the team and they get spawns, or if the blue just pushes up too much, they could lose spawns. If all the teams pushed up and there's only one on a hill, red could spawn back here. But if you're the blue team and you have spawns, knowing where red spawns is huge. So the usual spawns for the red team will be right in this area and right here as well, these two spawn points. All right guys, so we finished all the hard point maps, all the hard point spawns, all that. So let's go into control now. There's only 3 control maps: Hacienda, Protocol, and Vault. Let's start at Hacienda. This one's actually pretty straightforward, pretty much on control. You know, they're going to be spawning one side, the other team's going to be spawning the other side the whole round. So let's say blue's pushed up, they got a lot of spawn control right here, map control I mean, and red team is just in a blender. They're getting 4 wipe, they can't do anything. This is the main spawn for red team. This is the only place they can spawn, right here, if the blue team has this setups. But red team can go over here and go here or through here. There's 3 lanes they can hit, but this is the main spawn. This is the ultimate spawn trap in Hacienda if you get a setup like this, where you could just spawn trap them. So red team will be in a blender right here. Just make sure you don't push up too much, because you can spawn them out over here maybe, or if everybody's pushed up too much, you can spawn them inside wine. But same for the red team. If the red team is pushed up in the blue spawn trapping, let's say one's Lambo, you got 2 zebra, one's watching this side, they're just spawn trapping. This is the main spawn point for blue as well. So they're going to be flooding all these areas if they have this set up. But of course, if red team does push up a little bit and they're blocking one side of the map, if they're blocking one side of the map, that means the team will be spawning on the opposite side of the map, just like so. And if same goes for the other side, if red is blocking this side over here, that means blue will spawn on the opposite side, just like so. Just all about positioning, guys, all about where you're positioned. For Protocol, this is a pretty spawn trapping map as well. I mean, the red team's pushed up, spawn trapping blue and stuff. If they're pushed up like this, they will be spawning back in the middle. But same goes for this map. If you got 2 pushed up cliff, 2 inside here, you're spawn trapping, or like this setup right here, 2 pushed up cliff, they will get these spawns right back here. Since you're blocking right, they will be spawning left. And then if the red team rotates over, they get another 4 wipe here, then they will spawn back out cliff, just like so. So just where you are at will tell you where your enemy is. And if the red team just gets too kill whore hungry, they push up, they get a 4 wipe, and they're all in the spawn, that means that the blue team are going to spawn inside building right here. Now if you're blue team and you're spawn trapping the red team, Same goes for this side. This is the ultimate setup. Basically, they're going to be getting these spawns right here back in this area. But just like I said before, if the blue team gets too kill hungry, they're pushing up, they're blocking every single spawn there is. The red team can spawn in grannies. And same thing, if they push up too far on one side or the other, that means they will spawn on the opposite side. It's like this. And same goes for the other side. If they're pushed up like this, they get a 4 wipe. That means the red will spawn over here. So just the opposite side of where you are in control, basically. It's pretty easy. Control spawns are pretty easy to learn compared to Hardpoint. But really good setup I like to do. I go top right here. My teammate sits lighthouse, one sits tools, and one sits granny. So you're blocking the granny spawn. That means they can get these spawns right here, and they can get these spawns right here, just like so. And you're just split spawning them out. You're going to be spawn trapping them. They'll be in the ultimate blender. But for the last map, vault on control. This one's pretty straightforward as well. Red team's going to have the blue team in a blender here. Let's say red team is pushed up poolside. They get a 4-team wipe. That means blue team will spawn palace side, and vice versa. Red team pushes back over to kill the blue team. When they spawn palace, they get a full 4 wipe again. They're just, the blue team's in a blender. Boom. Now they're spawning poolside. So they're blocking this side. They're going to spawn this side. Red team's blocking this side. Blue team will spawn this side. Just wherever you're blocking is where they're going to spawn. But for another example, if you might get split spawns or something, let's say blue team's right here, right? And then you just got someone pushing up straight up mid in their spawn right here, and you guys are just wiping the floor still. He's kill horn. But if you have someone in the middle right here like this, they can get split spawns. Oh, I didn't mean to mark right there, but yeah, they could get split spawns if you push this up too far in the middle and get a 2-2 split, or they could get a 3-1 split or another 3-1 split on this side. Just depends which side you're pushed up more. You just got to be aware of your positioning on the map, guys. And same thing, if the red team are all pushed up blocking all spawns, blue team can spawn really close to the point. So you don't want to go too far and block the spawns. You want to just keep them in that spawn trap. But if you're the blue team and you're spawn trapping on offensive side and you got red team in an absolute blender right now, here's the setup for the blue team. The red team, they're getting these spawns. There's like 3 spawn points back here, just like this, if the blue team were to push up and destroy the red team like this. But if the blue team were to push up in art, that means they're blocking this spawn right here. They can't get this close spawn, so they'll be spawning out over in this area, just like this, if they had this kind of setup right here. Just like if they were to push up just like this, then they'll be spawning on the art spawn, just like this. Pretty straightforward, guys. Just where you are on the map will tell you where your enemy is. I hope this video did help you guys. I went over every single map on Hardpoint and every single map on Control to try to help you guys to the best of my ability. If this video was very informative and helped you guys out and you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like and comment button as well, guys. It'll mean the world to me, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.